Hello, welcome back, Steve's Retirement Corner. Seeking peace in retirement. You know, on here I try to give you an honest look at what retirement life is like. It's it was a mystery to me how it would feel being retired and everything. And I usually go to that old, it's like summertime when you was a kid, Doc. You know, the world is wide open to you. Only now you got a few dollars, hopefully. You don't have to cash in pop bottles in order to get a daggone Slurpee and a moon pie down at the daggone 7-Eleven. and but I keep seeing this pop up in some of the comments, and I've seen a couple videos about it. And I guess that's really what it's like, man. That's what I was searching for, is peace. You know, whatever that means to you, that's the way to have a retirement, I believe. You know, and I found it. You know, when you're working, man, the day you leave school to the day you retire, man, life gets busy and it throws everything it's got at you. You know, and you really have no peace. You really don't. There's always something else to be done, or something that pops up that causes you a world of hurt, you know. But in retirement, you get to get that peace back, whatever it means to you, and just enjoy life for what it is, you know. Whether you're sitting here watching the birds fly, laid out on the riverbank catching a couple little guppies like I do, you know, or whether you got a full calendar, you know. That's part of what makes it the golden years, you know. It's what part of makes it enjoyable, you know. And hey, man, and I mean, all I ever wanted from the time I can remember is when I got over was to kick back. That was it. I had no more plans than that. You know, I said on here one time, I was like, what was his name? Abner Kravitz on Bewitched. You know, he was always sitting on the couch reading the paper, or taking a nap reading the paper, maybe washing his car, or whatever. I mean, you know, doing nothing is extremely time consuming. You know, I mean, I guess you could say that's what it boils down to. All I'm doing is seeking peace. You know, when you're working and when you got a young family, a mortgage, and life is just beating your butt, 12 ways a Sunday. It's kicking your tail every day. And, you know, you're just worried about getting through the day. Forget about daggone retirement 40 years later. You just ain't got no room in your head, and you ain't got no ability to even do it. It does get easier the older you get, but you got to keep working at it. You know, eventually the kids get grown. Eventually college gets paid. You know, eventually you have a dollar coming in that you didn't have before, and things lighten up. But you know, there's a lot of money stress in life, man. There's a lot of it. And the things you got to do to get it is part of what adds to that stress. The sacrificing, the multiple hours, the multiple jobs, you know, the saving, stacking the cash is not an easy job, Doc. I don't care who you are. And it puts a lot of stress on you, you know. And in retirement, I didn't want all that. You know, I just wanted to be free. You know, pretty much it. I was talking to my little lady over across town this past weekend. You know, she lives in one of them HOA neighborhoods. I always tell her I can't afford it. And live in one of them neighborhoods where they're going to fine you if you don't do something. She says, you do that stuff anyways, Steve. I said, yeah, I do. You know, I try to keep the house up and the yard cut and stuff. Speaking of which, I'm going to have to cut grass tomorrow because I ain't cutting it today. Executive decision. But that rain come in, man, and just made everything pop. unreal. We were dry as a bone for a long time. I was digging some holes over yonder, and I said, man, I'm gonna wait till the rain comes in, then I'll dig later on. So I got one more to dig. But I told her, you know, it's not so much that, man. It's the having to. You know, there's a difference between having to and wanting to. I do the stuff now because I want to. If I knew it had to be done, then that's pressure on you. And I didn't want any. I don't want any of that mess. I just don't, man. You know, you're under a lot of pressure and stress your whole life. When you get to retirement, you know, I mean, for me, that's a time to enjoy yourself and not have that stuff. That's what makes it feel so good. It really is. But I guess you could say, you know, I always say simple retirement, or, you know, a 20th century retirement, or mid 1950s retirement. But I guess it's just a search for peace. You know, whatever that means to you. For me, it's a lot of butt sitting, I can tell you that. Cowboy movies and fried bologna sandwiches. And a sundae on Fridays. Banana split. But that's what it's like. Honestly, I think that's more what it's like. That and feeling like the summer when you was a kid. You put your cutoffs on when you rolled out of bed and hit the road, Doc. Whatever happens, man, you was ready for it. You had no idea what it was going to be, but you was going to be a great day. You went to bed and couldn't wait to get up the next morning. Whether you was wading in the creek, catching crawdads, playing a pickup game of softball, or riding your bike, or whatever it was, man, you just knew it was going to be a great day. And that's the way retirement is. It really is. It's a dream come true. Yeah, but you know, it depends on you. It depends on what kind of retirement you're looking to have. You can add as much or take away as much stress as you want, and I wanted it to vanish, and it pretty much has. Even when I have a bad day, it doesn't ruin me. You know what I mean? I can deal with it because I'm in a better frame of mind. I'm in a relaxed state. But anyways, man, I got to get down the road. I got some stuff I need to get done. Don't take care now. You know, make it a great week, man. And we'll talk to y'all later.